Hi, Dave here. This is one of our single product reviews, but it's also part of a roundup review where I compare it with similar items. If you want to watch that, check out the YouTube description for a link, or if you're on our website, just have a look below this video. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the first one, which is the Tripod Projector Stand by Elephas. So what you get in the box is a carry bag, fairly standard. You get the platform for the projector, a bit of foam to go on top of that, and a strap. I'll talk briefly more about them in a second. And then the stand itself, which looks like that. So, first impressions, it's mostly made of aluminium with plastic fixings. It feels and looks okay. So let's run through it. It's got nothing securing this at the bottom, so I think that's supposed to just lock in place, which it seems to do reasonably well. It's got these clasp type fittings here to extend the legs, and they work fine. When you extend the legs, it definitely feels like it's got a little bit of a wobble in it now, but nothing too ridiculous. I'll just put those back. They're very easy to use. You've got a locking bolt there, a screw, whatever you want to call it, which then allows you to extend that in the centre. Let's just see, by the way, is this easy to fold away? Yes, it is. A very gentle push makes that go up. And then one quick thing to mention is that the screw on top of there, I measured earlier, and it's a standard 3/8 of an inch screw head, which is good to know because it means that a lot of audio-visual equipment, cameras, speakers, various small projectors, will all be able to fit on there without an adjuster being required. So let's just put the top on. This platform is made of metal that feels fairly solid, and it's got a lip on it there of about 1.5 centimetres, so loads, your projector's not going to be falling off there too easily. It's got this bit of foam to go on top. I mean, it literally is just a bit of kind of thin basic foam. It's not exactly a quality component, but does that really matter? Probably not. And it's got one elastic strap to hold the projector in place, which is enough. The size of that platform is not huge. It will fit a projector on it, I assume. Yeah, so a kind of standard size projector fits on top of it reasonably well, and if you wanted to, you could stick a remote or something like that down the side, but there isn't a great deal of excess space, and larger projectors would not fit on there. But then, realistically, if you're using the kind of projector that wouldn't fit on there, you're probably not going to be using a fairly budget tripod stand. Okay, so I think that will do for the overview. So let's go through the core competencies. In this case, maximum height. I'm not going to extend it because it will take too long, but I've tested it before and it comes to 47 inches. Minimum build quality achieved. Well, I would say yes. I mean, that's actually fairly solid. It kind of rattles around a little bit, and like I said, when you extend the legs, there is definitely a bit of a wobble to it, but nothing that is going to inherently be a problem. I don't just see it randomly collapsing or falling over. Likelihood of breaking after, some amount of use. Well, really, there's so little going on here, it's difficult to imagine anything could break. The only thing that I could see possibly breaking is this screw here, which I suppose, you know, might mean that could fall down, but that's such a basic mechanism, just screwing it in until it gets clamped onto. No, I don't see anything on this breaking anytime soon. And then the approximate price. I say approximate because prices do tend to change, but at the moment this is selling for £32. There are a few negative reviews for this product, as there are with most products. There's not much in a way of a trend of kind of serious issues being mentioned, though, just a few kind of random points. The one thing that does come up a few times is the general kind of flimsiness of the build, which I agree with. It does kind of look and feel a little bit flimsy, but that's not actually a problem I can really get on board with. It's one of those things where you feel like it's a problem, but then when you think about it, you know, if you've set this up and you've put a projector on top and the projector's sitting there and nothing is collapsing, what does it even mean that it's flimsy? I mean, so what? So I don't actually consider that a problem, but at the same time I'm not exactly saying it's incorrect either. Oh yes, and then there's just a couple of people who mention a missing handle. I think they're talking about like a winding handle, like you get on the Vankyo projector stand and a couple of other models, which clearly has never been on here. So I don't know if that they're making a mistake there, or perhaps there was an older version of this where there was some kind of handle, but it's certainly not something to justify an actual negative review on this current product, because it simply isn't part of it. The 5-star reviews mention a few points repeatedly, which I've kind of covered already, but just to briefly reiterate, it's good value because it's one of the cheaper projector stands around, but it does everything it's supposed to do. A few people mentioned the fact that it folds up really small when it's folded, and it does, and it's really lightweight as well. I haven't actually weighed these because there's not that much difference, and they're all so light, I can't imagine it really matters too much to anyone, but I think this would come out as the lightest one if I were to weigh them. Oh, and then flexibility of use. A few people mentioned that, largely due to the fact that it has this standard size screw thread. Yeah, so a few people like that they can use it for different reasons. And that is it for the positives. Okay, let's have some Amazon questions for the Elephas projector stand. There aren't too many. A couple of people asked how big is the plate. I've now measured it, and it is 13 inches by 9.5, which is what it states on the listing. The people in the questions though mentioned that it used to say a larger size, I think. I don't know if maybe they're getting something wrong or it's reduced in size, but it is definitely 13 by 9.5 inches. There's also one person I think who asks, does the top tilt? And it does not. If you wanted to get a little bit of a mechanical tilt on this though, you could always just shorten one of the legs. That's the end of this review. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you found it useful. If you want more information, or if you want to make a purchase, if you're watching this in YouTube, there are links in the description, or if you're watching it on our website, there are links on the page. Thanks, and see you next time.